Welcome to Beards, Heads, and Threads on the mobile. I am on the run right now. I am cruising, just riding around here. But listen, welcome. Glad you are joining this channel today. And I want to do something real quick. Give me 1 second. That's the wrong thing. That's not what I wanted. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. My son usually is the one that does all this stuff because he's that good at this stuff. And you would think that I would be really good at what I'm doing, but apparently I'm not that good. I'm not as good as he is, apparently. Start a poll. Okay. Boom. Boom. I'm going to do what he did and see what it does. It's going to be funny. All right. There we go. I'll shrink that. I'll put it to the side just like that. All right, cool. All right. Welcome. Now you're probably wondering, who do we got in here? Grown and Grace, good to see you. Why is this doing this? I don't like this at all. Okay, there we go. We've got Kayleen's in the house first. Congratulations, you get the trophy today for being first in the chat. We've got Grown and Grace. Randy, second. First comment, but I've been here. First comments, but I've been here. So 30 spray Ray, 30 spray Jay. Gosh, good to see you, bro. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you're coming in. So I need some help from you guys. I do. I know that I said I need some help with something, and I'm not asking you for like anything out of your pocket or I need you to give me anything, but I do want you to at least give me your opinion on something. The whole idea lately has been, there's been some talk about bald and bearded guys, at least me. And I'm going to take my seatbelt off. Can everybody hear me all right? I know I am on a mic here, and I normally don't use these mics, especially in the car. But I brought this because I do like this mic, and hopefully I'll have a nice, clear sound. Hat on. Okay. You're funny. You know what? I did not ask for that. All right? I did not ask for that kind of attitude. Okay, listen. This is what I was going to say. I was at a young adults group the other night, and we had a new kid. We had a young guy. He was a senior in high school. He was 17 years old. Well, he is 17. And he shows up, and I pastor a group from 18 to 29 young adults at church. It's called Bridges. And he shows up because I invite the seniors to come. And I said, hey, in a text message, I said, hey, it's Pastor Chad from church. Want to invite you to Bridges. Would love to have you. This is what time it starts. We'll have food there for you if you want. We'll have a good time. Let me know if you want to come, and so I can expect you. So he says, sure, man, I would love to be there. I'll come, and ask me all the questions, okay, what time should I be there, blah, 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 blah. So he shows up. My kids know who he is because my kids are young and they're in the youth ministry at church. But he doesn't know who I am. Okay, so he shows up and he sees me and he goes, oh, I know who this guy is. I've seen him around. But here's what's funny. Somewhere, come on. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to drop the phone. So we're eating and we're chatting. And somewhere along the way, he says something like this. He goes, I didn't know who you were when you text. I was like, who in the world's Pastor Chad? And so he didn't have any clue who I was. And so when he shows up, he's like, oh, it's you? And so he tells me, when I first seen you, I've always considered and thought that you weren't very bright. And then he follows up and says, you just seem like really like a mean guy. Like you just seem mean. And I said, hold on a minute. We're going to have to have a talk here. Because you do understand that bright and mean are two different words, two different meanings. When I hear somebody is not bright, I don't know about you guys, but I think that they're just not very smart guy. They're just not very intelligent. They're not very bright. They're just kind of, dull and, just not smart at all. And so I was like, dude, you got to be careful with your words because that's not what you meant. And I know it was. And he turned around and said, no, well, that's not what I meant. I meant you were kind of mean looking. And so it got this idea sparked in my mind, because I have a friend who's the youth pastor at church, older than me, big guy. He says, it's the bald head and the beard that makes you look a little intimidating. And so he had said that. And another thing was funny. After that, like a few weeks to a month later, I'm at a school substituting, right? And so when I am substituting at the school, it's kind of a funny deal because I didn't go to college to be a teacher. Never really had the desire to be a teacher, but I do have a license to substitute. All right. And so I was substituting on this particular Friday. Okay. So my wife was helping out being a para the day before at the same school, a school that we normally don't even work at. We just chose that week to work there to try it. And so that Thursday she worked there and she was in this guy's classroom. And I'm telling you, the guy, she said his name and I had his name on my list of, that I was going to be substituting for. And she said the guy was really kind of just mean and he was rude and said that he said, yeah, tomorrow, I wish I had two hands to do this. That was free. But tomorrow, we're going to have a substitute. That's how he did it with both hands. Quote, substitute. He's got a piece of paper, licensed substitute. By the way, hit that like button if you're in here, guys. Help me out. And said, he's just not going to do nothing. He's just going to sit here because I got a student teacher that's going to do it all. So he just gets to come and sit down. Well, when my wife told me this, I'm just going to be completely honest. Because on this channel, why would you expect anything less? I tried to be honest with, raw authenticity and tell you the truth about reviews and things that I've discovered and just be real. Because I think a lot of times we go places. Thanks for that. Appreciate that 30 spray. Appreciate that, brother. You go to channels, you just get a lot of fake fluff. People just say stuff because they just want to make you feel good. They just want your money. They want you to buy their stuff from you. And I'm not going to lie. I do want you to buy my stuff. I own my own company, BHT Grooming, and it's a company. I want you to buy my stuff. But I'm not going to lie and fool you and try to just screw you over and make you think that you got to do this and this and that. Okay? All right. I'm not going to do that. Let's see here. Imagine if you roast that kid for calling you a mean person. That's funny. Maybe the kid plays God of War video games, and maybe he reminded you of the character's Kratos, which is bald and beard. Maybe so. Maybe so. And I can certainly get that Kratos cut of a beard if I wanted to, but I don't want to cut it. But I will say this. I kind of get irritated. If I was to be honest with you, I kind of got irritated. I thought, the guy's being rude to my wife. She said he had a man bun and all these things. And I was just kind of like, in my mind, I'm just going to be honest with you. I already had this preconceived notion of who this guy was. Like, I had him pictured in my head. He was a big guy, probably fluffy. I probably shouldn't say that, but a big guy that's probably overweight. And I hate saying that because I'm not trying to be rude, but that's how I felt at the time. And looking back, it's not right. I shouldn't have. But again, I'm probably telling you guys too much information, probably be rude, but I'll tell you this. He was a big guy, and he had a man bun, and he just had an attitude. And so I thought to myself, okay, so I told my wife when I got to the school, I had to go there at 12:01. I was going to work from like 12:01 to 4. That was going to be like a half split day shift. My wife had worked there all day and she was on lunch and she met me at the door. When I came to the door, I walk up to the door. I check in with my badge, go to the front, get my paperwork. And I said, all right, where's the classroom? So we start walking down the classroom and I tell my wife, I said, I'm going to give this guy a piece of my mind. And it's funny because honestly, I was not going to give the guy a piece of my mind, but I was a little irritated. I'm not going to lie. I was not going to give the guy a piece of my mind because I think I'm a little bit more mature than that. I'm not going to make a big deal. I can't get down if I need to, but I'm not going to start and fabricate fights and upset, over stupid stuff. A lot of stuff I overlook. You got to have thick skin. But I was irritated. I'm not going to lie. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to give this guy a piece of my mind. She's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Chad, don't do it. So, and do you guys like that bad to the bony? My last name's Boney, and so it's going to lead into the story. Bad to the bone, bad to the bony. So I get to the room and I open the door, and this is so stinking funny. I walk in and I've got like this front, like I'm already irritated. I walk in the door, open the door, and have a stance, and I look right there at that teacher, and I'm looking at his man bun, and I've got like the steam coming off my head. I'm telling you, you can feel the room just full of tension. And when I walked in that door, I slammed that door like crazy. Okay, I'm just kidding. I really did. My wife just looked at me like, quit lying. I walked in the door. I stood there. I promise you guys, I did this. I stood in there. I looked at the teacher, and the teacher goes like this. This is funny. Promise before God. I'm not even kidding. He's looking straight, and he goes like, he looks at me and he goes, oh, not what I expected. Dude, I'll never forget this story. I will never forget that when that guy looked at me and he said, oh, not what I expected. All full in his glory with his man bun, looked right at me and was like, oh, this guy looks a little bit different than I thought he was. I thought this guy was going to be some little skinny, nerd-looking guy that was going to be a substitute teacher. No, I did not know that kindergarten cop was going to walk in the door, and I was going to go, whoa, this guy is not who I thought it was going to be. Am I Boston? No, do I sound like I'm from Boston? No, I'm not from Boston. I'm from Kansas. I'm just from the plains of Kansas, as boring as it can be. But welcome in here. Glad you're by here. Glad you're stopping by. Listen, if you have not double tapped the screen, what are you thinking? Hit that like button. Come on now, seriously. I'm trying to tell you a story. Least you can do is give me a like. So I'm standing there, and he goes, not what I expected. And he goes, kids, this is Mr. Boney. I said, it's Mr. Chad. And he goes, oh, okay, guys, it's Mr. Chad. Because, in school, I don't go by Mr. Boney. You can only imagine the jokes I had growing up. And so, you know what? It doesn't bother me. People say stuff. I mean, seriously, it doesn't bother me at all. But I go by Mr. Chad at school. And so I said, it's Mr. Chad. Oh, it's Mr. Chad. So anyways, long story short, he ends up leaving. And some little kid there raises his hand, or a girl, I can't even remember, and raises their hand. This is around the time, maybe about a week after Charlie Kirk died. This is the time frame when this had just recently happened. A little kid raised their hand, and I can't even remember what the student teacher's name was. Let's just say her name was like Mrs. Johnson. I don't know. Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Chad's scary looking. That's what she said. And she goes, he is kind of intimidating, isn't he? And another kid goes, yeah, he's scary. And so with that being said, with the youth minister saying the bald and bearded look kind of puts you off as kind of intimidating. And then this kid recently, just last Thursday night, 17-year-old, telling me that I look like I'm mean. I asked my kids, I said, do I look mean when I go to church? Do I look mean? I mean, I know I probably look mean when I'm out in public. I'm not a mean person. If you talk to me, I would give you my jacket off my back. But I think in the world we live in, it's hard for me to walk around with a smile on my face all the time. And it's probably a bad thing that I don't, but I'm serious. It's hard for me to fake a smile. You just never know what people's intentions are. We live in a world where people are just, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always on alert all the time. When I go out in public, always on alert. I've got a wife, 2 girls, a son. We've went through a lot of crazy stuff. What's going on, Mackenzie Hankins? We've been through a lot of crazy stuff. I remember a time, just to kind of drop the phone again, give you an idea of this kind of like a life in the chat, and a look in the life of Chad from Beard Ties and Threads, the owner of BHT Grooming. I'm an honest, real guy, nice guy. But let me tell you something. about myself that you probably don't know. My wife had breast cancer about 3 years ago. She's still going through some stuff, still going through the treatments and stuff. Well, if they say you're mean with bald plus a beard, then that means you have unlimited testosterone and a Superman. So I will say that I do take TRT treatments every 3 weeks. You should take it every other week, and they said my testosterone levels are up there, and so I need to go every 3 weeks or drop it down a little bit. So I decided I'll go every 3 weeks for the sake of my time, because when I was younger, I did do a lot of bodybuilding. I did do a lot of steroids, which, not to brag about that, I wish I didn't. If I went back, I would have changed it. But it is what it is. I can't change that. It screwed with my natural testosterone that my body produces. So I take TRT. And so appreciate that. Hello, big fan. Always good to see you going live. Appreciate that. Dad Boyd, what's happening? So going back to this, I was going through a time with my wife going through breast cancer. I didn't know if she was going to live or die. I didn't know. This was about 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years ago. And they said that she has a very high aggressive cancer, carcinoma, right? And it was stage or grade. What was the grade? Grade 3. And so I remember we were in this ministry thing. We were going to go do music. My wife and I, we were pulling into a parking lot not too far from where we live in Hayesville. It was in Wichita. And it was a Burger King sitting there. And we were trying to pull left. And this guy was walking by as slow as he could, just mean mugging me like crazy. And we had a pretty nice car at the time. It just got totaled not too long ago. So we're riding around in this Dodge Caravan just in the present time. But here's the deal. I pull right after he crosses, and this guy turns and slams the side of my car with his hand, with all of his keys in his hand, and puts a massive scratch. And my daughter's in the back left seat, my middle child, my youngest daughter's in the middle, and my son's on the right side, and my wife's going through the cancer, and I'm already like just, having so much anxiety and just worrying about my wife and everything going on. I slam the brakes, get out of the car, and I'm ready to just beat the junk out of this guy. Like, I'm just being honest. This kid, like, I felt like he was a kid, but he had to be like maybe 30, in his 30s. And so he's running his mouth to me saying, I don't care how big you are. You think you're big. You think you're tough because you're a big guy. And here's the thing that he didn't know. He thought he was tough and trying to challenge me, thinking just because I'm a big guy that I think that I'm tough. But I don't think I'm tough because I'm a big guy. I do think I'm tough because I have trained a lot in fighting. A lot of Jeet Kune Do, JKD, Bruce Lee type of fighting, Wing Chun stuff that I used to do. Really got into that, sashes up there and learning the techniques. And also on top of that, really got even darker into this in my life when I actually started training homeland combatives, because, the world we're living in, I don't want to have to just use a gun. If I have to use my hands, I want to be able to protect my wife and kids. So I learned this stuff. It was a obsession in my life. It was so obsessive in my life, and my wife can vouch. Am I telling the truth?
Yes.
Yeah, huh?
Yes.
Yes. I used to go train every week, and I've learned it all. I mean, I don't think that I'm the baddest dude. I don't think that I could beat every single person up, but I know I can take care of myself. And so I'm like, I already know that, when you're fighting, you never try to fight, throw the first fist, never try to throw the first fight or punch. I can't even talk. There's always cameras. I know this stuff. They train you this. They train and teach you this stuff. Always throw your arms up like, you don't want to fight, but yet, Anyways, there was cameras there on the Burger King, so I'm like, dude, just come over here. Come over here. And he wouldn't come. He was about 50 yards away, not 50 yards. What would you say? Probably about 20 yards? Not very far.
He wasn't very far at all.
Maybe 20 yards, but he would not come. He would not come. I said, come over here. Come over here, dude. And he would not come. And come to find out, like, he had a big old attitude, said he just lost his kids. And I'm like, well, no wonder. Look at your attitude. So The old me probably would have beat the heck out of him for tearing my car up, but I let him go. But I was pretty ticked off and mad. But I don't know. I try to be a nice guy, but deep down, I still got to deal and battle the flesh. And I used to have dreams of just fighting all the time. And so I can hold my own, but I don't know. I guess like I have this mindset when I'm out in public, and there's like all kinds of craziness around you, evil and wicked people and people that want to do people wrong. They have ill intentions. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people. So I have this look on my face, and maybe it's just a front, like, don't mess with my family and we'll be fine. But I don't know. Obviously, I don't need that face in church. I don't know why people think I look that way in church, but the fact of it is this. We live in a world, and my number one goal in life is obviously to please God, but to protect my wife and my kids from everything else. If it's protecting them emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, that's my role as the father, and that's what I do. I do not back down to that. I don't care how big somebody is. I don't care. Listen, I will get in the ring, WWE, and I will tear somebody down. 30 Spray J. Come on down, man. I knew you'd like that. Seriously. But yeah, y'all need to go check out 30 Spray J's channel. He does talks a lot about wrestling. So I thought I would just mess with them on that. But seriously, guys, listen, this is a Beard Heads and Threads channel, all men's grooming, but we like to have a lot of fun here. We like to be real, keep it real, talk, real men talk, do a flip. I used to do a kip back in the day. I used to do Taekwondo until I learned that Taekwondo is stinking just junk. Sorry, no offense to all those people out there that do Taekwondo. I know it's a cool art you might like to do, but when it comes to real fighting, Taekwondo is not going to get you nothing but your butt kicked, because these high kicks aren't going to do you nothing when we take you to the ground and do the groundwork, okay? Those high aesthetic kicks and stuff, woo! It ain't going to do jack for you. But I did used to be able to do kips. That was back before I was fat. Why? Okay. Do a flip. So, a flip kick. So, anyways, I think we're going to be rolling here in a second. So, who do we got on here? We've got Cora1216 user. So, have you guys noticed? Give me 1 second. Have you guys noticed how YouTube is like screwed everybody's names up? It's given everybody their handle names, their handles, instead of their actual stage names. So we got 50% subscribed and 50% that's not subscribed, which I don't care. Which, just blows my mind, wondering, why are you not subscribed? Maybe because you're a girl and you don't want to be a part of a men's channel. I don't know. Sherry's in the house. Good to see you, Sherry. Cora, good to see you. Thanks for dropping a hi, dropping a comment. Listen, drop a comment, guys. I'd like to know who you are in the chat. I've got a lot of giveaways coming on the channel. So if you like giveaways, you're in the right spot. A couple things to address today. If you are not a part of the BHT Roundtable, you need to become a Roundtable member. Latest member, 30 Spray J, that you see down here. He is a moderator. As you can see, that cool looking wrench beside his handle. You also see a cool looking green Stay Blessed, Stay Bearded logo. And I'm going to tell you that right now. This is my wife. And so why would you become a member of the BHT Roundtable? For certain reasons. Number one, you get a chance to win a giveaway 3 times a month. If you want beard products or you pre-shave oil or any of that stuff, beard wash, all that stuff. If you have a beard, and I understand not everybody's got beards. I get it. But if you do have a beard, or if you're trying to grow a beard, you're in the right place, and you win free stuff. I give away at least $60 value every month on the 10th, 20th, and 30th. And also, I give all information away to my roundtable members before things go live, so they all know the inside about everything. But here's another thing: y'all get a 30% discount monthly. So it's a one-time monthly deal, because I'm not gonna be broke by giving the discounts all the time and never making any money. But it does save you a lot of money. And how do you become a BHT Roundtable member? Well, you got to be a boss first. You have to be a special person to become a BHT Roundtable. It's not just for anybody. It's just for those people that mean business. There's a lot of guys out there that talk the talk, but they never want to walk the walk. It's one thing to say something, but it's another thing to actually do it. All right. And I talked to a lot of guys out there that want all the great information, but guess what? They won't. My information is useless if you don't put it into practice. So I try to help you look good, feel good, smell good, be the best you that you can be as far as like men's grooming on this channel. In BHT Roundtable, that's where we sit around the table and we talk about real stuff that we normally don't talk about with everybody else. It's the inside stuff. You get my ear a lot of times. A lot of these guys have my phone number. We text because we're friends. It's a tight-knit community. You want to become a Roundtable member? There is a link down in the description. But when you go there, if you do, don't just select the membership, because that's for anybody. Anybody could become a member and watch videos before they go public. You got to go to the bottom. Scroll to the bottom, go a little bit deeper, a little bit farther. Appreciate that. Kaylin's 1123 sent 100. Thank you for that $100 super chat. Anybody else wanting to give me some super chats? And my wife's looking like, what? She's like, $100? You're getting $100 super chat. Oh! Listen, guys, I'm telling you what, how many of you guys are givers out there that actually do super chats out there? Let me know. How does it feel to be a businessman? I don't know. I mean, a lot of responsibility. You got to be, there's a lot of people out there that are businessmen. You got to hustle, but, you got to lead people too. It's not all about trying to get people to just buy your brand, but you want to lead people in the right direction. You want to give them the advice they need, the wisdom, and be honest with them. But on the other side is the business side. You always want to try to be innovative, come out with new stuff, and that's what I'm doing. I'm coming out with new stuff all the time. Sniper sent a gift. Thank you so much, man. So many givers on the channel today on BHT Grooming. Can you believe it? Sniper. What a blessed person you really are. Link down in the thick beard. Absolutely. If you go down in this thick beard, split the beard like Moses, I'm telling you, you'll find it. So let me give you a tip today. Can I give you a tip? First of all, before I throw out my pearls before the swine, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys out there have beards? Anybody have beards out there? Anybody have a beard like mine? Anybody have a shorter beard, maybe a longer beard? If you do, let me know. Because if you do, I do want to give you a tip today that will definitely go a very long ways that you may not know. Maybe you do know it, but a lot of you guys don't know it. And I would love to give you some advice today that is game changer. It is an absolute game changer. Randy, are you still on the chat today? Let me know. Are you still tuning in? I still can't believe we got 57 subscribers and we only got 43 people. 43% people that have not subscribed. Can you believe that? Man, they're missing out. Missing out big time. Big time. Got big time giveaways coming. I got a head shaver coming. I'm going to be giving away. Anybody ever heard of a Groomy Baldy Pro? It's a top head shaver that I like. A lot of people don't like it, maybe. I love it. What's your favorite head shaver?
Me?
Yeah, be honest.
Um, it's Groomy. Really is. I think that's the one that I have now, right? Is it Groomy that I'm using?
Pro,
Is it? I don't know.
the black one.
Black one. Yes.
And you used to have the Brio Rays.
Yeah, Brio Rays I liked, but I like the Groomy better. It just seems like it works better, and that the other one, Brio, it was good, but I feel like the Groomy, it just doesn't give me so much as a rash as the other one kind of was giving me a little bit of a razor type burn, a little bit. So
You prefer that over the leaf razor?
see that those are totally two different deals, but I prefer this right here. I use like a head shaver type thing. Helps you not get cut and all that, and it's simple. Our teenage daughters use it. If you're in a hurry and you want to do it in the car while your husband's driving, or you can do it on the go. So those are good things. I use it on my legs and stuff. But yeah, the razor is a whole nother deal. I mean, you use razors for really, 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 really close, smooth, but not that these aren't smooth using the others, but you know what I mean.
So since we're doing a interview here, I almost feel like we're doing an interview. I got the mic here. Do you ever use the head shaver while you're driving and your husband's just riding along?
Nope.
Okay, just checking, because who's usually driving?
Me.
That's a lie. Recently, but
Normally you do.
normally I drive, and she's the one shaving her legs where I'm sitting right now. No shaving legs for me, but I do use the Baldy Pro all the time for my head. If it's not that, it's the Hummingbird MK13, or it would be, in fact, I believe that's pretty much the only two that I really use. I mean, I do use the Brio sometimes, not as much as I used to. I do use the Cut Buddy sometimes, not very often. But the MK3 and the Baldy Pro, I go back and forth. Now, there's a new one, MK17 foil shaver. I'm not a big foil shaver fan. All right? I'm not. I will say that MK17 from Hummingbird gets the closest shave that I've ever had than anything. There's a new product on the market that just hit. Sent me one. I'm supposed to be doing a review on it. In fact, they actually sent me an email and said, "Hey, you do like you have some type of connection with Hummingbird, and I don't think it's a very helpful thing to do a review against the MK17 against the new Touch 2 by Aberlite." Well, and I told them, I said, here's the deal. I do help out Hummingbird. I'm not going to lie. But you know what? How is that helping Hummingbird out when I say Baldy Pro is my favorite? I mean, does that even make sense to you at all? Doesn't make sense to me at all. If I'm a Hummingbird helper and they've got a head shaver, they've got 3, they've got an MK70, and I still say that the Baldy Pro is my favorite.
In all reality, I don't know what it matters to people about sending you stuff to do a review if you're doing a review on something else, because you're going to be honest. So it isn't like, oh, you're doing one for them. Well, you're going to be honest either way. If it's not, hey, if this one gives you razor burn, you're going to say, man, this one gives me razor burn. So regardless, you're going to get an honest review. That's the good thing about Chad. He's a Christian. He's honest. And yes, he, once people want him to try to sell their stuff or whatever, but he's going to give an honest review, I mean, and he has a lot of wisdom, and he's tried out a lot of many different products, so he can give you the go-to, what's the best one. So
Wow, my wife is getting lucky here. She's getting brownie points. I'm just kidding, guys. Listen, what's up, Boston Beard? Good to see you, Preston. Listen, guys, Lewis, good to see you, buddy. So let me say this. The Touch 2, when I first got it, I'm telling you, I thought, wow, this thing's amazing. I love the shape, the ergonomics to it. It was light. Kind of reminded me a lot of the school shaver, just kind of the shape it was in. And I like Aberlite. I'm not going to lie. I think their Touch, what is it? their go-to, not Touch. Touch 2 is the razor foil shaver that we're talking about right now. But the go-to, the beard straightener, it's the bomb. I mean, that cordless. I mean, it's expensive. I don't know how many people's gonna buy one. If your money situation's tight. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's nice. Bells and whistles. Wireless one I've got works great. I think I've got to charge it quite a bit. But I haven't done a full review on that one. But I did tell. So here's what's crazy. Aberlite, what's up, Hillbilly? Good to see you, Billy. Aberlite reached out to me and they're like, so we would like to see the video before you go live with the video. And I'm like, really? You're really that worried that I'm going to really make you guys look bad? No, I'm not trying to make nobody look bad. Here's the deal. I sent pictures to Aberlite and I said, here's my head. I want you to see my head. Gracie Rose, what a beautiful girl. I love you. Good to see you, honey. That's one of my beautiful daughters, and my other daughter was on here earlier, Abby Hope. So let me say this. I sent pictures into Aberlite, and I said, this is my head. And I'm telling you, it was awful. I put pre-shave oil on my head. I treated it after, and I'm telling you, it was terrible. It was bad. Was it bad?
It was bad.
Very bad.
Major red spot.
I told my wife, I said,
and it felt like you were saying it was burning.
It was burning like crazy. And
Worst feeling.
I deal with head shavers all the time. And the MK17, the first time I used it on the 9,000 RPMs, which is, they've got 3 different RPM settings, it did the same thing to my head because I'm not used to doing foil shavers all the time. But I'm at least able to turn down the RPMs on the MK17 and not have so much of a crazy fast motor on this sensitive head, right? So they said, well, oh my gosh, what happened? All this stuff. And I told them, and you obviously you haven't really used. We went through your videos. You don't really do a whole lot of full shavers. Well, maybe so. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I'm not a full shaver fan. I'm just gonna tell you that. If you're a full shaver fan, you're gonna absolutely love these head shavers. But I will also say this. I've got a friend. Maybe you guys know him in the bearded community. And I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want. I didn't have his permission to say his name, so I'm not gonna say. But he messaged me because he follows my channel and he found out about the MK17, but he also found out about the Touch 2, and he bought the Touch 2, and he turned around and he bought the Go 2 because he'd been looking at that for a while and they had a special, so he bought both of them. So he said, dude, I tried this and the top keeps coming off. Like right out of the box, the top just keeps on falling off. So he went ahead and just powered through and held the top on there, shaved his head. And this is the words he said. He goes, dude, I have, what was it? I'm trying to think of the word he said. Something city. I'm trying to think how he said it. He said, irritation city. I think that's what he said. And he said his whole head was all irritated. And he goes, I'm sending this back, and I'm sending, because I guess he reached out to Aberlite, and Aberlite told him that they would send him another one. And he's like, dude, if it's already messed up out of the box like this right when I get it, and there's a 1-year warranty, I don't want to deal with this. I have to go back and forth. So I'm sending them back, and he sent them back. But the point of it is this: the Aberlite Touch 2, there's a lot of people that's doing reviews on these because that company sent that razor to a lot of people. And I'm not going to bash it and say it's a bad foil shaver because a lot of people love it. And I'm not going to say that they're lying, because some of them, I know these head shaver guys that doing reviews, and I don't think that that's what they would be doing. I mean, I don't believe that they're lying. But the point of the matter is this: for my head, it did not do good. And I have a sensitive skinned head, and I take care of my head. And the foil shaver from MK17, or the MK17 from Humminbird, and the Touch 2 are head shavers that I will not be using. I won't be using. I did do a review that I'm going to be releasing the video very soon about the MK17. It's a great foil shaver, and a lot of men are going to love it. They will. But again, it depends on the person. For me, I'm a rotary guy. I'm not a foil guy. So I do better with foil shaver or rotary shavers than foil shavers. And so Probably not the best guy to send a foil shaver to do a review because I'm going to give an honest review. But I'm going to tell you, if you're a foil shaver guy, you're either going to hate this or love it. If it's a good product, you're going to love it. If you're, and I'll bring out the pros and cons, the battery and stuff and what you might not like about it, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, that's just something that had just recently happened. But my number one go to is a Baldy Pro, because it just does a great job. I love the stuff to it, the versatility to it, the magnetizing heads to it. It's IPX7 rated. It's shower equipped where you can get it wet. You don't have to worry about it. It's easy. It's simply easy. Just make sure that if you don't want to be stuck in a subscription, just buy the head shaver outright. Don't try to buy it for $30 where it's on sale, because you got to know that any business that's going to drop their stuff $40, $50, have you ever heard that saying, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true? Well, that's what you need to do. You need to use that wisdom in this. Like if you find a head shaver, and by the way, don't even get me started with Freebird. I'm not a fan of Freebird. Very nice people. Very nice people. I have worked with Freebird. I have made videos for Freebird, but I had to part from Freebird because I just don't really care too much for the head shaver. It just doesn't do it for me. And I'm not going to continue to make videos and feel like I'm not being honest about it. So I'm like, I just can't do that. So Freebird, the first version, Flex Series, the Pro, a lot of people like them, and that's great. But I just don't like it for my head. It's just a personal opinion. Some people will love it. Some people won't like it. And for me, I just don't like it. All right. It is what it is. MK17, I like it. It's different. Feels good on my head. It's comfortable. It gets a good enough shave. See, one thing that you got to understand, I appreciate that, Karsten. Appreciate that. Mike is pretty good. It is a Rode NTG shotgun mic. All right, if you're curious. What's going on, Lewis? Good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Not in jail, not out in bell, not in hell. You're doing well. I'm doing well. I will say this. Going back to the MK17, I know the company. That's what makes the difference. I know the company. I know the CEO. I know the owner. Okay. And he's a super nice guy. I've talked to him on the phone, face to face, on a live call. I've talked to him several times. We've talked all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, right there from New Jersey, you know what you're getting. If you have problems with Humminbird, not everybody's going to like Humminbird. But a lot of people are going to love Humminbird. And they got all kinds of shavers, all kinds of trimmers, like all the way up to like maybe almost 20. They're sending my wife one because my wife actually wants to try one of theirs to see if it can actually beat the Grooming Baldy Pro. And they're sending her one. I think it's called the MK16. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But the MK13, if you ever have any problems with it, 1-year warranty, they replace it. They're at their top. They have customer service right there at the top. So if you have problems, they're going to take care of you. Now, let me just throw a little bombshell out there for you. And my gosh, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for all the things I'm saying right now. But I'm just trying to be real and honest with you guys. Boy Mike, too, good to see you in the chat. Will you be in GTA 6? I might be. I might be that guy that walks down the street and you go, oh my gosh, that's Chad from BHT. That's Chad right there from Beards, Ties, and Threads. Dude, this is crazy. And I'll be the guy wearing that black sweatshirt from, P.O. Bach with the khaki pants, boots on, walking through the city, trying to beat somebody down for stealing my car or something. I don't know. I hadn't played that game in years, like long time. I don't really play those games though. But I will say this. You just got to go with who you trust. There's a lot of people out there, Lewis, that sell nice head shavers. I can tell you right now, one head shaver that I still have. I've got like 4 of them. I've got the silver, the gold, the platinum, and I have their palm shaver, and it is simply called Skull Shaver. Now, I have nothing against Skull Shaver. I don't, except one thing. The one thing I have against Skull Shaver is I think that they could do better with their customer service. I do. I think that every time I've ever tried to reach out to Skull Shaver, they are like ghosts. They'll ghost you. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of Skull Shaver. And so, when I look at companies that I can actually get a hold of if I have a problem, that gives me a lot of confidence and trust. Let me say this, completely being transparent. I had a guy message me earlier off my website, and maybe you might be watching later. I don't know, but he messaged me, and it's interesting and funny. He never left an email, but he just left a first name, and he said, you don't have your ingredients on this description. Shady. And I came back and I wanted to say, I'm telling you, I'm learning as I'm getting older not to just respond immediately what you want to say. All right. Sometimes I just want to go back and say, dude, why didn't you leave your email, or something like, why are you trying to, but I didn't. There's people that make comments all the time on my channel, and the knee jerk reaction, I want to come back and just like stick it to them, but I don't. I try to kill them with kindness and be nice. Like, yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, well, this, we can agree to disagree, whatever. But I told the guy, I said, thank you. I said, thank you for letting me know. I said, I'm still new to this business. I'm still growing. I said, and I thought it was on Etsy first until I realized after I texted him, emailed him back, that it was actually on Shopify. So I went through every one of my Etsy's and every one of my listings on Etsy store and every one of my listings on my website. And I made sure on every one of those to put every ingredient in my product. All right. I said, there's nothing that I'm trying to hide from anybody. This is what it is. Why not use a low profile microphone? That thing looks like, okay. All right. Well, you apparently know what one looks like, and this is probably the size that you have seen. I'm using this because I like the sound of this. Okay. I've got several microphones, several wireless ones. I've got Rode Wireless 2 mics. I've got them all. And the reason why I choose to use this one is because I want to use this one. All right. And you can just be perverted and go somewhere else if you want to think that way, because that's not what we're definitely talking about on this channel. Okay. So anyways, but yeah, let me know, guys, do you have any questions for me before I get off of here? I wanted to jump on. I'm trying to do this just to get to know more people, obviously get my brand out in front of people. BHTgrooming.com. I got my butters that are 2 ounce on sale. They're on clearance, actually. If you go to the clearance tab on my website, BHT, like beards, heads, and threads, BHTgrooming.com. I do have my new 4 ounce butters that I just released, new formula, that are linked below on my shop. If you use the code CHAD, you can save yourself 10%. If you are in the BHT Roundtable, you can always send me a message, ask for your monthly code. I'll give you a code. You can get your 30% off for being a member. But I've got a person that just bought something off my Etsy store yesterday. It was a gift for somebody in New York. And if you're tuning in and listening, I appreciate that sale. I really do. I've just got it boxed up. It'll be shipping off tomorrow. But just giving that little extra TLC, you know what I mean, to the products. Make sure that they are great, they look good, and they are fantastic. Appreciate that, Randy. Please double tap the screen, hit that like button if you haven't. Lewis, how is BHT going? It is going, and it is growing. As any business startup, it's a slow startup, but it's going. It's almost a sale every day. To some companies, they're probably going to be like, dude, that's nothing. That you ain't hardly selling nothing. But that's why I depend on people like you guys to share and talk and tell people about my company. Some of these companies, they spend hundreds of dollars on people to talk about their products on big platforms. I've got a pretty good, decent platform here. And so why not share it myself, right? Why not pay? Why should I pay other like marketing places to talk about my stuff, which maybe one of these days when I get bigger, I'll do that. But right now, I think that hard work, a lot of grit will go a long ways starting out. Just send me a card on every order and I'll post it where I can in California. Appreciate that, brother. Is this Ryan? It's hard to tell with your username, but I'm thinking it's Ryan. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see your picture, but I think it is Ryan. In fact, I was just talking about you, if it is Ryan, um, to Randy, Pastor Randy, my father-in-law, who's on here, Randy Cooley. I was just talking to him about you, and I was also talking about Justin Gardner, who's another guy that you've probably seen coming on Growing in Grace sometimes, but he comes on BHT Grooming as well. He's another friend, guy that just discovered BHT Grooming not too long ago. So I send my handwritten note every time somebody always makes an order. I think that it says something to be personable. I never want to make it something that's way too big for the end user. Like, it's just some companies get bought out because they want to make a lot of money. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But I think that if you have a mission and a value in the end user, making a difference and really wanting it to be personalized, you got to consider that stuff, because a lot of companies will buy you out if you get big enough, and that doesn't matter anymore. It's just you're a number. We just want sales. And so I certainly want sales, but I'm going to tell you right now, I can sit down and write some notes for a while. If I can get a lot of sales, I'll write notes, and I'll handwrite every note with your name and tell you thank you for supporting my company. And the more I get to know you guys as customers, the better the notes will probably become. But that's just, I think that's just the touch of being different. And, I read a book one time by Jeff Olson called The Slight Edge. And I have a buddy from church that asked me earlier, that he said, "Hey, what books would you recommend?" Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you don't read books, there's, let me reword that. There's so much knowledge you can learn in reading. There's an old statement that I heard a quote, and it was not all readers are leaders, but all leaders must be readers. And that was a quote from Harry Truman, the president, the former president of past days, Harry Truman. And I believe it. I believe that there's so much, there's a plethora of knowledge and reading. And so I was telling my friend, here's some great business books. Here's some great theology books. Here's some great, books when it comes to, sharpening your skills. But going back to that, if you ever get the chance to check out a book, read the book by Jeff Olson, and it's called The Slight Edge. It's doing something a little more every day over time. Compound interest will work in your favor. And so little things matter. Just to sum it up, the little things you do every day, a little extra, a little better every day, makes you sharper, and you get better and wiser, and just, it's crazy. Like even Charlie Kirk said, if you read a book every month, you read 12 books a month, and over 10 years, you've read 120 books, and it's just the power of compound interest and knowledge. Still going through the beard wash and conditioner, still going strong and loving it. I love the beard wash, dude. Thank you for checking that out and saying that for the balm and the wash, Lewis. I appreciate you. That wash, I'm telling you guys, Matt over there, Matt, the reviewer, he's a friend of mine. But anyways, he's actually going to be, his name is Matt Brashear. He's actually going to be doing a review on some of my stuff, but he said, dude, I need you to send me another beard wash. And this dude's like reviewed so many companies, way more than me. And he's like, dude, I've been using your beard wash all the time. I need you to send me that beard wash. I love it. It lathers. I love the scent. So with that being said, guys, if you've not checked out my beard wash, my beard oil, beard butter, guys, you got to check it out. At least give it a try. I mean, Christmas is coming. And so I'm going to be running a special Black Friday this Friday, and it's going to be a fantastic deal. One day until it's over, I will be doing a sale on all the products. It's going to be a big sale. I'll drop the information on Wednesday, so that way you guys know what the sale is going to be. But it's going to be a big discount. I'll just say, it's going to be north of 25%. Okay. So it's going to be a big, big discount. If you want to buy, collect your BHT grooming stuff, I'm telling you, all the products are going to be discounted big time. All right. So appreciate you guys all for coming on here and listening to me chat about all kinds of things in life, from being intimidating to head shavers to beard products to books. Let's get smarter, right? Work smarter, not harder. But listen, guys, if you guys want to do something great in your life, as far as like, you have a passion that you want to do in life, do it with everything you got. If you got a dream, pursue it. There's an old song that Cody Johnson sang, and it's called "Till You Can't." Do all the things that you can, because there's gonna come a day where you can't do it. And so, if you got a dream, chase your dream. Do everything you can for your dream. If God put a dream in your heart, do everything you can to make sure that you do the best you can and do it. Chase it. Follow it. I get those intimidating comments as well. I definitely understand. I showed my wife your picture and she's like, "Oh, he's got a thick beard." I said, "Yes, he does." And it's growing in really good. So definitely. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you want to catch me on, I'm going to be going live here in a little bit at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my other channel. So if you don't even know this, I got another channel. It's called, here's the handle, at Growing in Grace 28. At Growing in Grace, the number is 28. I will be on there tonight, and I will be preaching a sermon tonight, a message that I have that I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. And so if you have enjoyed this content and maybe you're new, don't be scared. I'm like I said, I'm an honest, authentic guy. I say, I'm smart enough not to say stupid stuff when I shouldn't, but I'm pretty honest. Okay.